welcome back to my channel. So this is the third video I'm doing on my front garden refresh, and I wanted to take you along and show you what I was doing today. I have been thinking a lot about these stones, and a lot of them are really small and not very stable. So I actually ended up buying a few new stones that are much larger, and that's what I plan to use in this pathway. And I will be using some of these as well, and I will create a few of these stepping stone areas in my garden paths as well. So I will be using them. I just will not be using some of these over here. So the plan today for me is to kind of prep and create this walkway as best as I can, or lay the foundation for it. I am going to be using some crushed stone underneath to create a base for the stones, and I'm also thinking about actually getting rid of this yew shrub because I feel like I will have a better chance at creating this walkway. I can even kind of move it a little bit over on this side and use some of the space that the shrub is taking. Really don't know how easy it's going to be to get rid of the shrubs, but I am going to try today, and I will work on my walkway and kind of edging on this bed and progress. The last few days have been cold and snowing, and I haven't really done much on this walkway, but today is a great day to be out here and working. It's not too hot, it's not cold, and it's really beautiful and it's sunny. So I will get on with this project, and I will take you along and show you in stages what I am accomplishing and doing with this project, and maybe it will help you if you are planning to do something similar. And I will also then be able to place my arch in its final position where I want it. So that's the plan today. I will be working on this today, and I will try to remove this yew shrub. I am convinced that now that it's probably the best thing to do is to remove it and replace it with a smaller evergreen or something else in this spot to give me that a little bit of a green structure here. So that's what I'm going to do, and I will take you along and I'll show you what I'm doing. To show you, it's not an easy feat to dig out a 20-plus-year-old yew. It is enormous. It has strong root system in the ground, and I am out of breath, but I've been working on this thing for the last 20 minutes. As you can see, I've dug out a trench around it, trying to do exploring to see how I can sever the roots and remove it. It's gonna take me some time to get this thing out of the way so I can start planning my new garden path. Feeling a little sad as I remove it because it's been with me for the longest time, but I think in the long term I will be happy that I removed it and I started with something else. I still have one yew over here, so I'm going to leave this one. I like the privacy it's giving me from the road, and I like how it encloses this corner, so I like it here. But this one here, it kind of blocks my view to the front garden, and as I plant new things in this area, I think I will miss this one less because I will have a lot of beautiful things to look at. I will plant an evergreen in its place here, which is much smaller, but I'm not sure which one yet. I will have to go and explore at the garden center once they open, but for now, I think to make my path, I kind of want this out of the way so I have clarity on how I want the path to be, and I will remove it. I'm gonna try my best. If I cannot dig this thing out, what I might end up doing is cutting it all the way down and then burying it in the ground. So that's something I might try. But for now, I am going to try to remove this thing. I'm gonna keep going, and I'll update you if I make progress and I am able to move it or shift it from here. So let's see. Keep you posted. You can see there are really, really thick roots at the base that is attaching the shrub to the ground. I was able to, if you can see, clear out a lot of the base of the shrub. I just have to start severing it from these big roots, and what I'm using for that is I have this little axe tool that I'm using to kind of almost like break down these roots. It's going to take some time, but that's what I'm doing to kind of break down these roots. I can also use my lopper to chop them. So I'm going to try a few different things and see if I can get this thing to move and make space underneath it. So the idea is to kind of do the trench and keep going as low as possible. And I am just really excited. This soil is extremely healthy and loamy, and I love this soil, and I can't wait to grow other things in this soil. It's beautiful. So yeah, I'm gonna try to get this thing out, and hopefully, fingers crossed, I can get this done in the next 20 to 30 minutes. I will keep you posted. The project is still ongoing. The shrub is so much into the ground. I took a little break to have some water. I don't know. I am confused what I should do with it, if I should keep trying and digging, and I think I will try for a little while longer and see if I can get it out. But it's been a struggle. It's been really hard for me to dig it. As you can see, the root ball is quite a bit out, but at the very core of the plant, the roots are very thick and very strong, and unless I try to saw it down, it might just be impossible. So I'm gonna see what I can do. If I can just narrow it down to the one piece that is attached to the ground deeply, then I might see if I can saw the root. I'm not sure yet. I have never done something like this before, so I am, as you can see, a little out of breath, struggling, but determined to get this thing out so I can kind of plan my garden in the way that I want it to be, and not get limited or tied to this. When I first pruned this one, I ended up liking it because it was different from what it was before. But as I am trying to imagine the new garden, I feel like once this is out, and my porch is more exposed, my door is more exposed, and the pathway looks more prominent, it's just going to add a lot of interest, and it'll add a lot of value to the path that I'm going to create here, and lots of other smaller things can be planted in its place in the front, and it'll just you know, be beautiful to sit out here on the porch and enjoy some nice flowers and just have a different view, because I've had this view now for 15 years, and I think it's about time that I changed it. And because I am going through this process, it's good to do it now, and then it will be almost impossible to take this thing out later when I have things planted in the front and I change my mind. It'll probably be very difficult to change my mind down the road. So you know, if you've been thinking about something like this, I would say I went through this whole process of, should I do it, shouldn't I do it, and I kind of took baby steps like I told you, and right now I feel confident that I've landed on the right decision. Although it was a process, it wasn't as easy for me to just say, okay, let me just chop it down. It took me time to realize, I mean, I get very sensitive towards things that are living, and very hard for me to just kill something that's perfectly fine or nice. So yeah, I mean, I think there is a thing about the wrong plant in the right place. So the place is good, but the plant here is not right. I'm sure when it was first planted, it was quite a bit of a smaller shrub, and when I moved into this house, it was already this size, and for the longest time, if you can see, it was that size. And for the longest time, I kept it pruned and maintained to that size, thinking that that's how it's supposed to be. And soon I realized that it was allowed to grow that big and create this big appearance, like almost like a wall. And it kind of looked nice because I didn't have anything in the front there, so it was like a nice private enclosure when I was sitting on my patio. But now that I have other plants and other things that I'm planning to do with the garden, it makes sense to remove this one and kind of open up this area so that I can have like a path, I can have plants in front of it, and I can see them and I can enjoy the garden from my porch. So so things have changed as I lived here, and I've kind of know more about gardening. I know what more I want to do with the plants, and it has evolved, and I took good care of it all these years and kept it pruned, and it's pretty healthy. It's a very healthy shrub. So yeah, so you know, it hasn't been an easy decision, but I don't have another spot that I could move it to or transplant it to. It would be just too hard. So I think it's time to say goodbye to it if I can get it out. And if I cannot get it out in the next, I would say 20 minutes or so, I am going to make the decision to just cut it all the way to the ground and bury it completely, and then I will plant around it, and hopefully it will disintegrate over time. So that's my plan B. So again, I'm going to continue digging and see how far I get with this. So here it is. The shrub is cut down. Actually, I was unable to remove it from the ground because the root is so large, the trunk is so large, it's almost impossible to remove it. So what I've done is I've cut it down as low as possible, and I'm just backfilling it with all the dirt that I dug out. And over time, I think it'll take a lot of time for it to disintegrate, but this will allow me to kind of plant around it and design my path. And I really like how much it has opened up the space, and I think it'll be nice once I do my garden beds in front of it. It's going to look really, really nice, and it's open and lots of sunshine and light is through this part of the porch. So I really like it. So just wanted to show you an update on where I have reached with this yew shrub. So yeah, so this is the update that I am going to show you today. And as you can see, it has started to snow again. So I don't think I'll be able to work on my path today, but I will take you along when I do the path, hopefully soon, and I'm able to get out here and work on the path. I'm hoping either today, later today, or tomorrow I'm able to make some more progress on this part. But if not, I will post shortly about an update on how I'm doing the path. But for now, the yew shrub has been removed, and it was a big struggle, but it really hasn't been removed, but it has been cut back, and I don't think it's going to grow back from the state. So I'm going to just cover it with the soil and show you when I'm all done. I started to work through my path a little bit. The snow is kind of turned into a little bit of a wet snow. So I'm going to continue working a little bit on my path. So what I've done is I've mostly filled this stump here with the soil that I had dug out, but I'm also removing a bunch of sod from there to create my path. So I'm going to actually dump a lot of the sod in this hole because it'll disintegrate. And then whatever soil I remove from here, because I have to dig about a couple of inches below the trench in order to lay my path. So I'm going to actually use some of this and dump it here so that this is a bit more of a mound to begin with, so that the stump is fully covered and I can utilize this soil and sod to do that and press it down on this so that it's mostly covered. So that's what I'm going to be working on next, and I'll show you as I progress and what steps I'm going to be taking next. So I'm not really sure if I'm going to lay the entire path down today, but I'm going to at least try to get a lot of it done. As you can see, I wanted to create beds on the side here, which I haven't done yet. I might actually dig out a portion of this grass as well eventually, but what I'm doing is right now is focusing on this path, and then I will work on when the snow stops, I'm going to work on these borders a little bit to remove the sod, so that when I'm laying my path down, I don't have to do that after my path is done, because it's going to be quite a bit of a feat to do it afterwards. And I might even do the no dig method there, but I'm not really sure because I don't have the materials for it, and a lot of the stores are just starting to stock up on their soil, so I don't really have access to it right now. So yeah, this is what I'm left with. So I'm gonna make do with what I have and keep going, and I'll update you as I progress. Share with you the progress that I have made so far on this front garden landscaping revamp renovation that I'm doing. So this is the yew shrub. This is the best I could chip it to the ground, and I'm going to bury this one. And as you can see that I'm digging up this pathway for my flagstone path, and I have removed some of the sod, so I'm actually putting the sod in this hole and filling up the base of this hole with that sod so that it kind of decomposes in there. And it's also going to add a lot of organic material to my soil. And what I'm going to do with the rest of my beds is do a no-dig garden bed. So as you can see, I've kind of laid out my new outline for my new bed, and it kind of joins with my existing bed over here. And what I also did was I transferred 3 of these bobo hydrangeas that were in the side of my yard here. They were against my driveway, and they got really crushed with all the snow and the shoveling that got dumped on it. As you can see, lots of broken stems. I'm not too sure if it's going to recover, but because it's a panicle hydrangea, as you can see, there's a lot of damage on these stems. They may recover or they may not recover. If they don't recover, I'll replace them with something, but for now I have transferred them here, and I haven't pruned them yet. I'm going to remove all these damaged stems. As you can see, there is still green here, which shows me that they're alive and they're okay. I just need to remove all the damaged branches and give them a good prune. So that's what I'm going to do in a little bit, but I just wanted to show you what I've done so far with the space. And as you can see, there is still a lot of sod here. So what my plan is to cover it up with paper bags, you know, those yard waste bags, and I'm going to dump a lot of soil on top of it and just try to kill the grass in that way. The soil is really healthy, and I've only dug spots where I'm actually moving the shrubs. So that's what I've done there, and also created like a little access way into my path, into my garden here, because I am making this bed significantly deeper than what it was. I kind of need a way for me to get inside here. So I used some of the flagstones that I had to create this path, and I really like how this turned out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually lay paper bags and put soil over everything. I haven't moved the rocks yet. I'm not really sure how I wanted to place these rocks, but I think for now I'm going to just leave them where they are, because they kind of look nice as part of this landscape for now. So I'm just going to leave them. I might move 1 or 2 in the front here once I have other things planted and my arbor planted and all figured out, but for now I'm going to leave it there. And I also have smaller plants like heucheras and euphorbias that have now receded in the back, and I might choose to bring them in the front. But this is not something I need to do right now. I can wait and see how this shapes up, and I can move them later in the spring as well. So I'm not going to touch them right now because they're just starting to wake up and they're looking good. I can always bring some more and add to the front if I need to, because the heucheras are really going to be acting as more like ground cover and just crawling in that space and filling it up. And I don't mind that pop of red in the back there, so I don't mind that at all. And what I did on this side was I actually transferred my 3 little lime hydrangeas, which are also in a very broken state, as you can see over here. So this is the other side. The bed that I created is a little bit of a different shape along my driveway. It's kind of coming out a little bit and curving in. And I also created a similar path to go down to my driveway, because I found that every time you want to enter this area from there, you have to go around and come around, and I don't want that. This is kind of nice to have access over here. So that's what I did. And I also moved all of my echinacea flowers together in one drift here. I think there's about maybe 10 plants in there. So once they all spring up, they will look really good, and it'll be a big drift of cone flowers there, which I really will enjoy. And also these little limes will fill in, and I have a ton of other spring bulbs that I'm going to plant. I have lilies, I plan to put a couple of peonies in there. So I think I'm going to add like a couple of peonies in the back there, so that when they kind of are done, these little lime are going to take over, and then that's going to be just backdrop foliage. And I have plans to add some other little plants here. I might add something on the edge there, maybe a creeping phlox to kind of border that. So yeah, so that is the plan, and I'm going to actually work on this part next and cover up this stump and dig up this pathway, and yeah, I just wanted to show you how this was coming along. And with this, I wanted to end this video and thank you for joining me, and there will be more updates from me on this project in my next video. But for now, thank you for joining me, and I hope everyone is having a fabulous day wherever you're joining me from. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do hit the subscribe button and follow me, and hit the bell icon to be notified every time I post a video. So this is another update video on my front garden refresh. Thank you for watching. I wanted to show you the next thing I was doing to progress on this front garden project. So I have laid down all of this yard waste bags, and I'm going to be putting some of this soil that I'm digging out on top of these bags, and it's a good idea to wet them so that they won't fly. And right now I'm securing them with some stone, but it's a good idea to wet them so that they won't fly around. Because it's going to be raining, I'm not going to particularly wet it too much. And also my hose is not connected right now, so I'm just going to just get some water in my watering can and pour it over, and then I'm going to cover this with dirt as I'm digging, and I'll do the same thing on this side and then keep going. And with this, I'll have most of the beds laid out and covered, and they will be prepped. And in the next 2-3 weeks, it's going to be raining a lot, so this should be good for the beds to kind of establish, and the grass to kind of slowly die. So I'll show you as I progress how I'm framing this, and also how I am progressing with my walkway as well. The progress so far, I have actually covered a lot of the paper with the soil that I dug out from this pathway. I still have a lot more soil left, and I also use some of the sod that I have removed when I was edging the borders as well, and I'm kind of using them as some weights to hold the paper down. So that's a tip, you can use some of that to hold the paper down while you are able to wet it. And that's what I've done on the other side as well, and I'm going to dump a bunch of soil on top so it stays put, and I will show you what this looks like once I have these beds prepped. Then I will be working on this middle pathway in more detail, and that way I don't have to worry about these sides, and I can keep dumping the soil that I am removing from here on the beds. So that's it. I wanted to show you what I've done so far, and I will show you in a bit as I make some more progress on this project. Thank you. Show you the progress on my path so far. So I've laid down the path where I wanted it to be, and as you can see, this is like the no-dig beds that I created, and I showed you how I created them. So this is still work in progress. It's not perfect. The soil is pretty dry, but we're supposed to be getting a lot of rain, so I'm not too worried about it. I have more soil that I need to get and work with that. But what I've done is I have laid down my path here, and as you can see, the path is what I did was I used some sand, like it's grit mixed with sand. As you can see, crushed stone mixed with sand. So I put that down at the base, and I also put like a little bit of a landscape fabric, but not right till the edge, because I do want plants to kind of grow in and meander around this path. So I am not going to be like fully sealing this. I kind of want it to be more naturalistic. And I will then put my stones on top, and I'm actually going to the stone place right now to pick up some decorative gravel that I can put in between the stones. So I just wanted to show you what this looks like right now. I'm really happy with the progress so far. It took a little bit of time to work on this and to level it a bit. I still might have to do a little bit of work, but I wanted to show you how this is evolving. I'm really loving it. I was working on this path this morning, and I'm just looking at my garden, and I'm just enjoying the possibility that it can bring. The yew shrub is completely covered. I was able to cut it down a little bit more as well, So it's completely buried and it's in here, and it's just suddenly starting to feel joyful and spring-like, and I just love how much sunshine just not having this yew shrub is bringing in. And I'll also show you what it's starting to look like from the other side. I'm really thrilled with how this has turned out. As you can see, it has really opened up my porch and it's looking fabulous. Sorry, there's a lot of mess around because this is still construction zone for me, but I also wanted to show you that I did trim down these hydrangeas. Like this one, I don't know if it's going to recover, but it was badly split. There's really barely no branches left on it, and the same here. This one is still in a little bit of a better shape, and this one here is still quite a bit you know, cut right to the ground. So I'm not really sure if these hydrangeas will survive, but we'll see. They are panicle hydrangeas, so they might survive. It might take them a couple of years to bounce back. So these little limes are in a little bit of a better shape. I did trim them. There's, as you can see, there are buds on it and there is growth on it, there is green on it, so I think they will be okay. I think they will be fine here. So these have also been trimmed, and I also trimmed back all my coneflowers there as well. So it's starting to look a little bit like you know, things will slowly start to wake up and it's going to green up, and I'm excited to add new plants to this bed as the spring starts, and it'll be nice to kind of add a lot more color in this garden. And so yeah, this is where this has progressed so far. And as I told you, I'm using the no-dig bed. I still have to do more work here and kind of finish the no-dig bed on this side as well, but I am going to work on it today and hopefully finish my path today and get the arbor set up so that I can then focus on my garden beds. So yeah, this is where I'm at, and I wanted to show you what this was starting to look like. Once I am done with the path, I will show you what that is going to look like. I have finished creating my garden path and I absolutely love it. I ended up picking up some bigger flagstones because I really wanted this front stepway to be more stable, and I felt like with the bigger sized stones it would offer a lot more stability, because I think this path is going to get used a lot for going in and out of the house now that I have it, and I really wanted it to be stable and structurally good to use for many years. So I ended up picking up some more stones, and I repurposed a lot of the free stones I got within the path. As you can see, this one is an older stone, that one is an older stone. I kind of mixed it in, and I also used some of the stones to create alternate walkways in my garden beds, because this creates access from my driveway path into the garden area, and also on this side I created access to the back of this garden bed, as it's pretty deep, and I used all of the old stones that I picked up from a friend of mine, and I just love how this looks. And also this pathway, I used a fairly light kind of marble gravel in this pathway, as I'll show you. I'll give you a closer look of it. And I love how this looks because at night it just glows. It's really beautiful at night. I opened my door at night and this whole path was illuminated. I don't even need lighting in here because this marble is very bright. And right now the stones are still quite dirty. They have a lot of mud on them, and so does the gravel. So once it rains or I'm able to hose this down, they will look a lot more cleaner. Right now my hose isn't connected, so I wasn't able to clean them and see the actual colors, but even just the way they are, they're just so beautiful right now. And I was also able to put this arch, I'll show you, and it just looks fabulous. It just frames my front door so much. And I think once I add my climbing roses onto this, it's just gonna look beautiful. And what I also ended up getting is a lot of space for other plants, and that's where the yew shrub was, and it's completely buried now, the stump, and I have a lot of this space now available to do other things, and I'm very, very excited about it. I have a bunch of roses that I have ordered, and I'm excited to plant them in this spot, and yeah, and I think this is coming together really, really nicely. Lots of other ideas and plans in my head, which I will share with you in the upcoming videos. I do want to add some more peonies and bulbs in there, and that will look really good once that's all done. And I also want to create a succulent garden here. If you have any ideas for plants in zone 6, 5, and 6, do let me know, because I want to create like a little succulent garden here with the rocks, and I think it's going to look very, 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 very beautiful, because I don't want anything too tall over here. And also on this side, hey Ollie, he's like resting. We just got back from a long walk and he's tired. He loves hanging out in the front yard with me a lot, so this is a perfect spot. And here I have a lot more space as well. I will plant some perennials around here and bulbs. I am not sure yet what I'm planting here, but I have a bunch of roses that I have ordered, so those will definitely go first, and then also a lot of bulbs that I have that I will be planting. And yeah, the garden is slowly starting to come to life, and it's looking really, really nice and beautiful, and I wanted to share with you the progress so far. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope everyone is having a fabulous day, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel so far, please do consider subscribing and hit the like button if you like this video. And if you have any other ideas for me, I would love to hear your suggestions and comments, and do let me know what you think about this project so far. I'm really, really proud of undertaking this and finishing it, and getting it to this point before the heart of spring, because then it gives me the opportunity to plant more things and enjoy it for this spring and summer. So with that, thank you so much for watching. I hope everyone has a fabulous day.